Now on KOAM News at 5, area health experts talk about the impact COVID can have on cardiovascular health.
Top gymnasts call for those involved in the cover-up of years of sexual abuse to be prosecuted. I'm Skyler Henry on Capitol Hill with their testimonies and the FBI's reaction to the department's self-admitted failure.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
A local cardiologist is seeing more cardiovascular issues among people who've had COVID-19. This is KOAM News at 5. A Freeman cardiologist says he's seeing patients with long COVID have shortness of breath, chest pain, and increased heart rate when they try to do activities. He says that can be the case even when a patient has a mild case of COVID, but he says there is some good news.
The good news is that the vast majority of people will get better, but it's not like the flu. When you normally get it, you're sick for 2 or 3 days, and by next Thursday, you're back to work and you feel 100%. COVID is a very different animal.
He says if a COVID patient had COVID-induced pneumonia, their symptoms could last long term. Tonight at 6, we're going to hear from a COVID long hauler who hasn't been so lucky as to get better. New research shows myocarditis, or inflammation of the heart muscle, is rare after COVID vaccination in adolescents. Nearly 9 million young people ages 12 to 17 received the Pfizer vaccine from December to July. The CDC collected more than 9,000 reports of adverse events during that time, and more than 90% were for non-serious symptoms such as dizziness and fainting. City of Joplin's gearing up for its annual City Surplus auction this weekend. That auction will feature dozens of items, including vehicles, tools, office furniture, computers, even a Christmas tree. It'll start at 9 a.m. Saturday at the Street Maintenance Barn northwest of the Public Works Center on West 2nd Street.
You'll also get people that normally go to some of the other types of auctions that are in the area, state auctions, because we may be selling some items that are important to them. We get farmers out here, and sometimes we get other municipalities out here.
You can find the full list of items on the city's website, and the public can view the items in person from 1 to 4 p.m. on Friday. Checking in with Nick Kelly now for a first look at the weather.
We had a pretty good day overall, Dad. We had to get past rain and thunderstorms this morning, but it was much needed rain, and it's brought out some of the late summer heat as well. It's looking great for 7th and Rangeline right now. Granted, there are maybe a couple little isolated showers or storms, mainly in Washington County and Osage County in northeast Oklahoma, but in general, everyone's quiet to start this Wednesday evening out behind our cold front that has stalled out just to the south, but it did its job. It pushed the rain out for the afternoon, and it left us pretty good temperatures. Most of us in the lower to middle 80s right now. I see us dropping back from the 80s this evening down to the lower 70s by midnight, and overnight we'll see lows dropping back to 67. We'll see how long we can keep these nice temperatures around with the latest forecast here in a bit.
See you then. President Biden today unveiled a new effort to help Australia acquire nuclear-powered submarines, a major step toward countering China. The announcement came as part of a new trilateral partnership among the United States, Australia, and the United Kingdom. Officials say the 3 countries will hold meetings over the coming months to coordinate on cyber issues, advanced technologies, and defense. South Korea released this video overnight saying it successfully fired its first submarine-based missile. It's the first country without a nuclear weapon to test a missile of this type. This follows North Korea's test of a new long-range cruise missile over the weekend. Overnight, the North also fired 2 ballistic missiles, a violation of UN sanctions. Outrage and emotion filled the Senate chambers at a hearing on the case of Larry Nassar and how the FBI failed to stop the former gymnastics team doctor from abusing young athletes. 4 elite gymnasts testified before the Senate Judiciary Committee. Skyler Henry reports from Capitol Hill.
In her emotional testimony, Olympic gymnast Simone Biles said the FBI was part of the system that turned a blind eye to sexual abuse by disgraced sports doctor Larry Nassar.
I blame Larry Nassar, and I also blame an entire system that enabled and perpetrated his abuse.
Biles was one of 4 elite gymnasts testifying at the Senate hearing into how the FBI failed its handling of one of the biggest sexual abuse cases in the nation's history.
I told him that the first thing Larry Nassar ever said to me was to change into shorts with no underwear.
After Michaela Maroney reported details of the abuse, the supervising agent met with the CEO of USA Gymnastics to discuss a potential job opportunity. By the time another complaint caught up with Nassar, he'd abused more than 70 new victims.
This is not justice. Enough is enough.
The hearing followed a scathing report from the Department of Justice's Inspector General. It said FBI agents failed to act with urgency and then lied to cover up their incompetence.
It is troubling to me to see that an FBI agent who lied, broke the law, knew he was breaking the law, and nothing happens.
Christopher Wray became FBI director after the botched investigation. He confirmed the supervisory agent has been fired, but one of the other agents retired without disciplinary action.
As to the decision whether or not to prosecute either individual, I would respectfully refer over to the Justice Department.
Nassar is serving the equivalent of a life sentence, but the trauma is far from over for his victims. They want to see more people held accountable. Skylar Henry, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Larry Nassar is believed to have abused hundreds of girls and young women. California Governor Gavin Newsom has survived an attempt to recall him from office with a sizable margin of victory. Close to 2/3 of voters favored keeping Newsom in office. The recall was seen as a referendum on Newsom's lockdown and mandate approach to the pandemic. The leading contender to replace Newsom, conservative talk show host Larry Elder, conceded defeat, but it's likely the two men will face off again in just 14 months in the state's next gubernatorial election. Still ahead, a warning about a growing Medicare scam.
Millions of people are receiving calls offering free genetic cancer tests. I'm Jessica Moore, and I'll tell you how this scam works.
And next in Health Watch, the Biden administration meets with business leaders to discuss vaccine mandates. Topping today's Health Watch, President Biden invited business leaders to the White House to discuss COVID-19 vaccine mandates. This comes amid a surge of COVID cases among the unvaccinated and a push by the White House to combat it by expanding vaccine mandates. Reporter Natalie Brand has more from the White House.
President Biden met with business leaders at the White House across tech, tourism to retail, a range of industries, but all companies that have implemented COVID-19 vaccine policies in the workplace.
And it's about beating this virus, and it's about saving lives. That's what this is all about.
The White House credits private sector requirements with helping to drive up vaccination rates.
After United Airlines announced its vaccine requirement, the vaccine rate for employees went from 59% to 79% in less than a month.
President Biden announced a vaccine mandate last week that would affect around 100 million workers. Governors in many Republican-led states have objected, but a new Monmouth University poll finds a majority of Americans support mandates, including 63% that favor requiring COVID vaccines for healthcare workers, 58% for federal employees, and 55% for private government contractors.
The Labor Department has to craft the president's new COVID vaccine rule that would require companies with 100 or more employees to require vaccinations or offer weekly testing.
OSHA is going through the process of determining the regulations and requirements here to give businesses and employers all of these clear guidelines.
Employers are already preparing for some pushback, including workers claiming religious exemption.
You have to make that link between the vaccine and the sincerely held religious belief. And if you can't, then employers could be within their right to deny the request.
Experts say one possible alternative would be to consider remote work when possible for individuals who do not want to get vaccinated. Natalie Brandt, CBS News, the White House.
That Monmouth University poll also found 63% of Americans currently support mask and social distancing guidelines in their state. That's up from 52% in July. Pregnancy is already stressful for many women, but a new report highlights how much the COVID pandemic can add to that stress. Unity Health Toronto surveyed 1,500 pregnant women and found nearly 70% had moderate to high distress and 1 in 5 had depressive symptoms. Some of their top concerns were not being able to introduce the baby to loved ones and getting sick with COVID while pregnant. Experts say more mental health support is needed for families that are expecting. And that is a look at today's health news. A little bit later, our pet vet on call.
Hi, I'm Dr. Eva Dudek from Parsons Pet Hospital. Coming up, we got an animal fun fact about zebras.
But first, we're done with our rain chances for the time being. Thankfully, we'll just see how long these nice temperatures will hold when we come back. As advertised, we definitely saw our rain chances push on through late last night into this morning. In fact, you can see how we progressed in the Skywatch storm tracker, tracking scattered storms late afternoon yesterday into the yesterday evening. But then the area of rain that sat pretty much across the Wichita metro finally pushed on through during the overnight hours, and that was our best shot of rain that we've seen over the past several days. This is certainly leaving behind some measurable rainfall. Half an inch of rain area wide in terms of the average, but heavier pockets pushing an inch to almost 2, if not 2.5 inches of rain. Certain rain chances that will certainly take for sure. Behind that front, though, most of us enjoyed a pretty quiet day. Light east-northeasterly breeze behind that passing front. But as long as there's still some lift behind that passing front, we are seeing just a couple little showers, maybe a couple of storms. You can see one north of Bartlesville, south of Copen in Washington County, and another good cell along Oklahoma 10 and 99 in Osage County. That is just about it. Everyone else, we're looking pretty good to start this evening out. And as far as temperatures go, the front also delivered on that promise. We went from the lower 90s yesterday, mid 60s with all the rain this morning. It topped out very nicely at 85 degrees so far this afternoon at Joplin Regional. We're still looking great for 7th and Range Line, mostly sunny up top. 83 in Joplin with a northeasterly breeze between 5 and 10 miles per hour. And it's nice to see those dew points back in comfortable levels in the lower 60s. Most of us are in the lower to middle 80s now, but areas that are seeing some of those storms out in northeast Oklahoma, a little pocket of mid to upper 70s there. But everyone starts out in the 80s this evening. We'll fall down to 71 by midnight and down into the mid to upper 60s later on tonight. So again, not much to show you here. We have quieted down ever since the front has pretty much passed on through. It's actually going to fizzle out as a stationary front as it continues to sink slowly south and east for the rest of the night. Our next front to the north actually won't be our next front. It's going to pass us just to the north as we go through the weekend. And in terms of the upper level setup, it's nice that the jet stream's right on top of us with temperatures closer to normal, but this is going to start heading back north over the next few days, encouraging temperatures to warm back up once again. At least, though, we're in good shape as we go through the rest of the evening hours. Mostly sunny skies will turn mostly clear after sunset. Temperatures just look pretty good to start your Thursday morning out. Most of us bottoming out around 67 degrees with the light southeast breeze of 5 to 10, looking at 83 degrees across the area by lunchtime tomorrow, and topping out around 88 degrees. Definitely a bit warmer compared to today, but we're keeping that humidity low, so still going to be good for any outdoor plans tomorrow. As we go into Friday and Saturday, maybe a couple weaknesses in this upper level ridge that'll send us back near 90 by the weekend for sure. It's going to keep any good rain chances just to the south, but I'm not going to rule out maybe a random shower or storm on Sunday. That's pretty much about it for any sort of rain chances this weekend. But our next best shot for rain will be when this system comes our way from the north and west as we head toward Tuesday and possibly Wednesday morning of next week. But temperatures, we're lucking out for the next few days. 88 tomorrow, 89 Friday, mainly lower 90s for the rest of the weekend and early next week. Again, down maybe an isolated rain chance Sunday, but we'll see better chances back in play by Tuesday and Wednesday.
A lot of us were really glad to get that rain this morning.
And how?
Sure. Thanks, Nick. Coming up, a growing scam is targeting seniors. The scammer is pretending to be from Medicare. First, though, we honor a local veteran. Leon Paul served in the U.S. Army from 1948 to 52. The Galena, Kansas native was stationed in Korea, and we salute Sergeant Leon Paul, a four-state hero. Topping today's Consumer Watch, household incomes fell last year due to the pandemic. According to the Census Bureau, median incomes declined nearly 3% to $67,500. The drop in wealth from 2019 through 2020 came amid a massive decline in full-time jobs as the pandemic raged. Lower income workers suffered the biggest hit. A new report finds top Facebook officials knew its social media platform, Instagram, can cause mental health and body image issues for teens, especially girls. According to the Wall Street Journal, a study of teenagers in the U.S. and the U.K. commissioned by Facebook showed more than 40% of Instagram users who reported feeling unattractive said the feeling began on the app. Authorities are warning about a scam targeting seniors. The scammers prey on people concerned about their health and Medicare coverage. Jessica Moore reports.
This is Becky, your patient advocate working closely with Medicare. Currently, Medicare is offering precautionary genetic cancer screening nationwide.
Seniors across the country are receiving robocalls that claim to be from Medicare.
If you do not act soon, then Medicare may label you as ineligible for coverage.
But it's a scam, according to the AARP. The fake calls have hit more than 60 million Americans.
These are sophisticated criminals.
Kathy Stokes is the director of fraud prevention programs at AARP.
In this process, the caller is asking for your Medicare number.
Scam artists may sell that Medicare number to other criminals or use it to file fraudulent claims. Authorities in Columbiana County, Ohio, say residents there are getting a different fake Medicare call.
They'll actually have the appropriate Medicare number and the name to go along with it, and they're telling them that they need a new card.
The Federal Trade Commission says scammers are often trying to collect personal information, like in this call.
I'm from Medicare. We're sending out the new cards, and I need to confirm your billing information to keep your coverage active.
Medicare never randomly calls looking for money or offering test kits.
Know that that's a scam because that's not how it works. Your doctor has to prescribe durable medical equipment or surgeries or test kits. And without that prescription, you can't get this stuff.
The Federal Trade Commission says if you receive a call like this, simply hang up. Jessica Moore, CBS News, New York.
A hiring spree at Amazon and pay raises hitting worker wallets. The e-commerce giant says it wants to hire another 125,000 warehouse and transportation workers. And to sweeten the pot, the company is also handing out $3,000 signing bonuses in some locations. Amazon has also boosted starting wages in the U.S. to more than $18 an hour. Our Pet Vet on Call next. The CBS Evening News is next. Then on KOAM News at 6, we're going to hear more from area health experts about the long-term cardiovascular impacts of COVID. Plus, authorities in southwest Missouri released the name of a murder suspect they're trying to find. And the EPA today began a cleanup project in Pittsburgh. Stay with us for the CBS Evening News and then KOAM News at 6. Every species is unique with a story behind it. Today, our Pet Vet on Call has a fun fact for us about zebras.
So, the age-old question, are zebras black with white stripes? Are they white with black stripes? Or are they black and white striped? They are actually black with white stripes. And some scientists think they figured out the reason. When they observed zebras and horses in the same area, all the biting insects and flies swarmed to the horses, not to the zebras. So it is thought that that color pattern is a pest control, not just a fashion statement.
We invite questions from anyone. If you have one, you just send it to petvet@koamtv.com. Dr. Eva Dudek from the Parsons Pet Hospital answers a different question or brings us a fun fact every Wednesday on KOAM News at 5. You can also find answers to previous questions on our website. All right, now let's check out our picks of the litter for the week. We have a dog and a cat, both from the Joplin Humane Society. Up first, we have Jack, an Australian cattle dog mix. Then there's this female domestic short-hair kitten named Zippity Lou. If you're looking for a pet, why not check out your local Humane Society? Two great pets, two great names. Mm-hmm. Not a bad evening to get outside with the pet tonight.
No, we'll keep things pretty calm for the evening ahead of us, and temperatures look okay as well. We'll eventually drop back into the mid-60s by tomorrow morning. We'll certainly keep dry for the next couple days and throughout much of this coming weekend too. 88 tomorrow, near 90 for the weekend. Maybe a slight rain chance Sunday, but the majority of the weekend will be dry, thankfully. We'll hold off on our next best shot for rain down until we hit Tuesday and Wednesday of next week.
Eventually the fall weather will get here, but apparently not in the next week.
No.
Thanks, Nick, and thank you for joining us. The CBS Evening News is next, and of course, we're going to be right back here for KOAM News at 6. We'll see you then. Let's make it a great evening.